Hello, friends. Hello, family. Welcome to episode 33 of the Michigan Brews live drinking show.
Family. Is your mom here?
I don't know, but sometimes. So. Yeah, all of my friends are family. So,
That's right.
yeah. No, I think that today is probably the first show we've had this year that we haven't had like a guest. Not that Brandon isn't a guest, but
I was just gonna you're wrecking my joke asking Jordan what's happened, but yeah.
very, very sorry.
Jordan put some weight on.
Oh.
No, as you guys see, we have or may not see if you're just listening. Jordan's out tonight, and so we brought in Brandon Edwards to hang out with us
want to spend time alone with me.
Yeah, because Jason's a scary person alone, and
bad things happen.
I can't trust myself with him. So,
seltzers happen, blackouts happen.
I was getting beer ready for the show, and Shayna looks over to me and she goes, "No meads and no seltzers." So, yeah, that's where we're at right now. But what are you guys drinking?
10% double IPAs, right? No,
Dang.
I don't know if it's 10%. Solo Copper from Ferndale Project. I just cracked it. What is it? It's got to be at least 8%.
Yeah, those are all like 7-8% usually. Yeah, or higher.
Well, drink yard sale last night, and yard sale was a big one.
It was yard sales 10%, I think.
10%.
Dang.
That beer was
Nothing
creamy.
Nothing too fancy here. Just some Moon Rambler from Founders. But,
What is it?
Moon Rambler? Yeah, it's like
what style?
It's a New England IPA with lactose. So it's not quite a milkshake, but well, there's no vanilla or anything, so it's
got it.
Just like it's an easy IPA with a little bit extra body. I don't know. It's like it's easy.
Yeah, I haven't even heard of it. I'll have to try to pick some up.
I think it's just someone can correct me if I'm wrong. Citra and like Mosaic, so you can't go wrong with that. Something simple like that.
Check
that that Solo Copper that Jason has is super good. I have been like a really big fan of all these Michigan Copper beers I've been seeing lately.
Yeah.
In Ferndale, I think is like they do a really good job with that one in particular. It's tasting like Galaxy to me. I think you've had at least one, right, Brandon?
Yeah,
that beer.
Solo Copper.
Yeah,
that one's really good. And Solo Galaxy's the best. Solo Copper was really good too.
Yeah, Solo Galaxy was awesome too. Yeah, they're killing.
I'm trying to look, and so that's why I'm staring funny at my phone. But I found it. Hold on. 500. It's Michigan Comet. Nope. For some reason, I thought one of the Final Gravity beers we had was a copper beer, but it's Michigan Comet. But no, this is super good. I get where you're saying that Galaxy. It's got that that fruitiness. Yeah.
It's like a little pineapple-y or something, a little citrusy. Yeah. I don't know. Yeah.
You guys ever brewed with copper hops?
No. They're kind of expensive to everywhere I've seen. It's like $3 an ounce unless you buy it in like super bulk.
Yeah. I think I only used them once. I went to like one of the Learn to Homebrew Day or one of those like a year or 2 years ago. I think at Bell's and got like they gave out like 4 ounces of copper hops like to people who showed up. So like I tried them out there, but like I used all 4 ounces in like a pretty light beer and like I still didn't get a ton of character. So like when I had that Solo Copper, I was really impressed. Like, man, that they must have had to use a crap ton.
Yeah.
So I think, and I don't remember, and I don't even know who would be watching this would know, but 2 years ago when I went over to Detroit to brew with the other Michigan homebrew clubs for like a Michigan homebrew anniversary brew or whatever it was all Michigan hops, Michigan malt, Michigan yeast that was donated, and I want to say we used copper.
Okay.
But I could be wrong. I know we used Craft Culture's yeast. I used Eagle River, and now they're gone. Rest in peace. But yeah, so I think I have, but I don't know. What do you drink, Brian?
Excuse me. Schwartz beer.
Oh, your Schwartz beer is done. Right on.
Awesome.
So I'm a heretic, and I end up drinking my lagers generally as soon as they're ready to drink. I just throw them in the keg and drink them like anything else. And usually, they're like lagered or something by the time half the keg is through or something. But I mean, if it tastes good, then drink it is kind of my thing. I'm too impatient. But it's good, yeah. And I think it'll be ready for NHC or so in a little bit here. Speaking of,
that's right.
You guys entering?
Yes, Wednesday. Registration for NHC opens on Wednesday. If you're watching, if you're a home brewer, make sure you jump in there. I don't know how many entries they're going to allow everybody yet. I think it's just going to you go apply, put in for what you can, and they'll cut you off at some point. So, what are you going to enter, Brandon?
I will probably enter at least one beer. I have no idea though. That's the thing. Is like I don't know. I've been slacking on brewing, or like I've had things that I just haven't felt like. This isn't great. And like I know the Jason perception is good. It's good to get feedback on those things regardless. But like then I also like have this minimum standard that I hold my own beers to, where like if it doesn't meet like a certain level to myself, I don't really want to submit it sometimes. So
that's fair. You can kind of tell yourself like, I already know what I need to fix on this. Like,
yeah,
I've started to really want to get feedback on like the beers that like I'm impressed with myself and see how I can make those better. How to go from like great to excellent. That's the hard step to get over, I think. What were you saying, Jason?
I was going to say this year, Brandon, though, NHC is even stressing my comfort level there. Right? It's one thing, like Michigan State Fair or something like that, or even Michigan Beer Cup, where it's $7 to $10 an entry and no shipping. Somebody's going to pick them up, or in Michigan State Fair, Brian muled them for me. But $29 an entry, and you've got to ship 6 beers to Denver.
Yeah,
that instantly makes pretty much every beer entry like $40. So
yeah,
I would not recommend throwing junk in that one at all. So I'm with you. I might actually only be entering 2 beers myself because I haven't been brewing very much. So
I did think of one advantage to the way that they're doing things this year, besides not having to double ship some beers, but if you're entering IPAs and you're meddling in IPAs, usually, like in the past, I've had to rebrew those beers.
Yep.
So that 2 months later, when finals happen or whatever, I can send in fresh beer. It's all being judged at once right now, so that's kind of nice, and that I don't have to brew the same batch of beer again, like however many weeks later. Not that it's not good beer or something like that, but that's kind of nice. I can save myself some, I don't know, ingredients or whatever. Experiment more.
No, I like the format of it, and I like that change. Like you said, just send it all in, and they're going to judge it all at once. And there's not going to be a final table. I think that's cool. It's a lot of beer to ship that far. In the past, I've done, I think upwards of 5 or 6 entries into nationals. And I'm not going to drop $200 on entry fees and then try to ship 3 cases of beer down to Denver. So
yeah, the biggest box I have to ship beer in right now is a 12 beer thing, and that's only 2 entries, so it's going to be at least like at least 2 boxes, maybe more depending on how many.
Yep. 4 bottles is like at least $20 in shipping or close to, so I can only imagine as you get more and more.
I suppose if you had cans, it'd be a little bit easier.
Oh, for sure. Oh man.
Or did they say are they doing cans again this year?
I believe they are. Yeah, I think most competitions are accepting cans now, but just the ability to ship a can, the weight, the the strength or the
Breakability.
yeah, that's what I was going for. Like, it really makes me want to just eat that $800 for a canner. Right
We've
now,
been
it's
talking
just-
about going in on one in the homebrew club.
Yeah.
So maybe in another couple of years, once we have like a lot of excess money, to where like it'll leave us a little bit of padding and stuff like that. Last year, I think I'd have to check with like Patrick and stuff. I think our member count was down a little bit just because
Yeah,
we couldn't go to
was.
meetings, and I think we're still slow to get members back this year and stuff, but we'll get back there.
we will. We will. So, in this year of no homebrew competitions and no homebrew festivals, so Brandon, you seem to have still done okay, right? So, let's see, what have you won in the last 12 months?
Oh, geez. Was K-Dale still 12 months?
Yeah, we'll count K-Dale.
Forgot about K-Dale.
Yeah, got to go back.
So
K-Dale,
you're supposed to brew a beer at Gravel Bottom, right?
someday, maybe.
Someday, right?
Yeah.
Your beer for Territorial was released last year, right? Was that last year?
No, it won last year, and then it would have been brewed sometime 2020, except COVID.
Okay.
So
So
then,
you still
and
got
now
that.
with their head brewer changing, I just kind of wrote it off. And if I hear something, great. If I don't, oh well.
So you could be on Gravel Bottom and Territorial. That's two.
Yeah. And then I get
And
to
then-
brew another one at it's actually, well, we don't have it scheduled yet, but we did message about scheduling it at Arclight, the Brews to Me competition.
Yeah, Arclight.
Yep.
So,
Yeah.
so in a year where all of us are struggling to do anything, Brandon's getting, could be getting beer pegged down at 3 breweries. So, nice. Congrats, man.
Thanks.
Yeah, definitely. Congrats.
I've already made arrangements with Ed. Brian and I will probably be in Arclight when you're brewing, heckling and drinking, and
Okay. Laughing at my whatever labor they allow me to do.
exactly.
Pour grain into the mill. Yeah, all the physical labor, basically.
You can move these bags.
What beers did you win those competitions with? I know that the Arclight one was a milkshake
Mango
IPA.
Mango IPA, vanilla, so I'll not call it a milkshake, so it wasn't quite like all that. But and the lactose really wasn't that noticeable. It maybe gave it a little extra body, but I will say like the lactose didn't really. I didn't taste the lactose like sometimes you do in some of those beers. That one, honestly, like a lot of things just worked out well with that beer. I tried reproducing it, and it didn't. I did make some changes though, and it definitely wasn't as good with some different hops and some different yeast options. But so I don't know. Like, and then other hop like the K-Dale was like a mostly Citra, but an IPA, American IPA. I mean, if it's not obvious, I brew a lot of IPAs. I've been trying to actually brew less IPAs, just because something different. Actually, this year, like I told myself at the beginning of the year, I'd brew more lagers. Like right now, I've got a Pilsner going. I actually did I'm kind of going off on a tangent, so you guys are used to that though. I did a 10-gallon batch this past weekend, and I just did split the wort. Half is going to be like a saison, and half is going to be a Pilsner, since it was easy enough to do that way. So I don't know. There's competitions with other beers that we talk about there. But yes, IPAs are generally what I tend to make because, like a lot of home brewers, that's where that's my safe place.
It is. It is. It's funny. I used to brew a lot of stouts, and it was always like I was the oddball out at homebrew meetings. Nobody brewed stouts. There's a lot of people who've never brewed a stout. So, but we each find our own little place that we get happy and comfortable in.
I tend to change it up like year after year, sort of, not on purpose. It's just like you sort of find like an interest
Mhm.
in something. Where were you going with that, Jason? I'm really good at butting in lately.
No, you're fine, man. No, my interest this year is I want the boring beer. Like, I want to start brewing some more fucking lagers and
Yeah.
plain pilsners. Like, I'm
Schwartz
getting
beer. Yeah.
that Schwartz beer looks delicious. Like, I'm looking for some stuff that doesn't have so much damn flavor. That said, my next beer I'm brewing is a milkshake IPA with orange and shit tons of lactose. Whatever. But I just saw Kevin Penn in comments. So Kevin says he's drinking a Bell's Breast Brown. I'm going to call this out now because Kevin Penn is going to be muling, Chef Kevin is going to be muling some beer over to us from the east side this week. Hopefully, we got to figure that out, Kevin. You got to tell him you're coming by. But next week, we're going to do a homebrew review show, and it's going to be the Livingston Social Brew Club edition because he's at least going to bring a few beers over for us from some of their members, his beers, maybe something from James. If Paul's watching, we're putting pressure on Paul to bottle some of his sours. I don't know, somebody else, but yeah, that's going to be fun. Really looking forward to drinking some East Side beer.
Should be pretty cool for you guys.
Speaking of bells.
Oh, you want to really go for it?
No, I don't know the entire schedule, so may as well talk about like our next month's shows before we.
Yeah, so this is the first time that we're actually going to be able to do a month worth of shows. I can actually say that we had to take last week off because work got busy, life got crazy, but we have set up at least a good schedule for the next month. Next week's going to be the homebrew review, like I mentioned, with the Livingston Social Brew Club. That's going to be on the 22nd and I'm actually going to put a post out about this later, but on March 1st, we're going to have the head brewer and co-owner and lead brewer of Stormcloud out of Frankfort, Michigan. So Stormcloud Brewing is going to be in the house. We may even get Amy Martin, their marketing director. She was on the show with us before, so Amy helped hook me up with those guys. So they'll be on. We'll have a Stormcloud night. We're looking at March 8th as being our next off night, where we're going to take a break. And then we're going to come back pretty big and hard. On March 15th, we've scheduled John Mallett from Bell's Brewery to come on and hang out with us for a while and talk about his story. So that one I'm really pumped about. I've been dreaming about getting Bell's on, and John in particular. Big fan of his and his book.
Literally wrote the book on malt.
It's right there. I should grab it down. Like, yeah. But yeah, I'm just super pumped. I messaged him out of the blue and he responded in like 2 minutes, and he's been really cool to connect with. So yeah, really looking forward to talking to John and getting to know his background. And then from there, man, we're really starting to branch out, and I'm sending out messages to breweries all over Michigan. We're getting good feedback. There's some other, cool people that I'm not able to commit to yet or comment on, but I just think, this spring is going to be pretty solid for our episodes.
We've been talking to about like our style episodes and stuff like that, and we're probably still going to continue those, maybe not as like frequently, but we've been talking about wanting to hit like a sour beer, like mixed fermentation stuff, and mead, but those are probably going to be like split into like different shows. Like they're kind of really, really big topics, but I'd like to touch on those at least a little bit, like maybe even like later on in the episode or something like that. Just talk about like my last year, since that's kind of the topic of the episode. And we kind of got into Brandon's last year, like 3 big competitions. Did you play the homebrew club competition too?
Third. Yeah, I tied with Bill, and then I cheated him out of third. But when you guys eliminated scores, but
that's right. Right.
And
My
was an
first
IPA
time
too, wasn't it?
that was mango. That was the one you won.
That was the same
was it
beer.
mango?
Yep, that was the same beer. Yeah. Oh yeah. That, I held on to that beer for a little while. I literally saved like my last gallon or so just to like enter in a few competitions that there were, because it's like I when you get a beer that you really like and wanna put it in those competitions, it's like, man, I want to drink it, but I want to also enter it in some things, so I better just let it chill.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you did not rob it from Bill. I'm so, that was my first time running a homebrew competition. And I specifically am so grateful now that I put the rules in place to break ties, because like the first 3 places were actually involved 2 different ties, right? And
first and third, I think.
yeah, first and third.
And it was only a matter of like a quarter point, I think.
Yeah.
It was really
well.
close.
Technically, I guess it was first and second, but yeah, it's just
Mm-hmm.
there was a tie for first, there was a tie for second, and then of course because of the tie for first, Brandon gets bumped down to third. It was a mess. That was so stressful.
Oh, I imagine there were just so many good beers too. Like I imagine that was difficult for the judges, and then without them being able to communicate because of damn COVID, that definitely complicated things further. But no, it was great getting the feedback, and I really
and just on the off chance that Jason Glatz is watching, who's the winner of our Keepers Cup Keepers of Craft competition, I do have your trophy done. I am sorry it's taking me so long. I do need to reach out to Jason this week and schedule a time to drop that off. So
is it all like shellacked and stuff?
It is. I haven't put the cauldron back on top of it, but we had it engraved, and I actually gave the whole trophy to the engraver so they could mount the the engraving and the plaque on it, so it would look nice. It looks really sharp. If I do say so myself, since I made it, I think it looks pretty goddamn sexy. Yeah. So I'm really excited about that. But man, January and so far into February has been like the absolute worst 6 weeks of work. And I just haven't had any time to finish it and reach out to Jason. So I'm sorry, Mr. Glatz, if you're watching. I have your trophy, and this week I'll finish it. I'll reach out. So what about your year, Brian? What have you won? What are all your medals and trophies? And
not shit all. I technically. I guess it's 2021 at this point in time, but Brandon has some beer in this competition too. There's a Operation Fermentation down in someplace in Texas. I can't remember exactly what city it's in, but they have an award ceremony coming up in, is it the end of the month, Brandon? Maybe early March or something like that. Is it?
Yeah. Yeah, I think there's like all the judging has happened except for like a makeup day, and then there's the award ceremony at the end of the month. That looks like. Yeah.
They requested membership into our homebrew club and then posted a link to the awards ceremony for us. So we're thinking maybe, hopefully. One of us took something or both or whatever. But
I know the IPA I submitted didn't win crap. I'll just put that there. Like after it finished fermenting, I kegged it up and I carved it up and then I bottled it up. It was this is the only other thing I have right now that I kind of want to submit. And then after I gave it a week to chill in my Keyser and tried it, I was like, this isn't going to win anything. I was like, I wouldn't have sent this one if I had it before. I'm like, it's okay, but this isn't going to win anything.
Maybe it matured in the bottle a little bit. Or, hey, maybe the bottle's infected and it turned into some amazing weird fruity Brett thing, and it's just gonna blow away the competition.
The other beer was my Munich Dunkel, which you guys had, which was I wasn't displeased with that one at least. So I want to get feedback on that one because there's some improvements I want to make myself on that one anyways. So that was one that I at the very least I'm looking forward to feedback on. So
yeah, that'd be cool. Yeah, this is getting me kind of back in the the spirit of competitions and stuff. I've got an Irish stout and this Schwartz beer going. Probably going to get a couple IPAs going for NHC.
Well, what did
I'm starting to feel the energy again.
What did you have in the Texas competition?
I honestly don't 100% remember. I for sure had a fruited, like mixed fermentation sour that I personally think has like a diacetyl issue, but I don't know for certain because like I'm not super sensitive to it. Shayna said she sometimes gets it, like way at the end. Nobody else has told me they get it, but it's very funky. So I don't know if that's just like Brett funk or if it's like diacetyl. I don't know. I think that I have a fest beer down there too,
Oh yeah, I think you did. That sounds right.
and a wee heavy. I think the wee heavy is the other one.
Okay.
Yeah, so I'm sitting on some wee heavy and Russian Imperial Stout too. So it's like, do I enter those in NHC? I don't know. It depends on how many entries I get and stuff. I'm digging those
Well,
beers this year.
I bought and paid for 4 entries in the Texas competition, and I mailed 0. So,
But speaking of them again, they were super cool. Didn't they reach back out to you? And they were
oh
like,
yeah, they
hey,
did. If they ever watch this show, I just want to say thank you. Like they reached out to me. They asked me where my beers was, if there was any problem. They were just so super cool. Like good guys. And I told them, life just got too crazy and I couldn't. Yeah.
which
I
is
just couldn't
crazy
get it.
because they have something like 490 entries. I'm looking right now, and like I knew how like crazy it was for you just to manage like the 16 or 18 or whatever that the the homebrew
20
club or the keeper said.
asshole.
Okay,
20. No, 20. It was a nightmare. Like I have this dream someday of like actually doing like a large, like I know this year I'll be hopefully helping out with Michigan Beer Cup and I really appreciate all that Nikki and Dan and the guys do for Michigan Beer Cup. But that's like more of an east side. It really does tend to be an east side. And I thought, man, it would be really cool to do something more local for like Southwest Michigan, and I want to organize, a homebrew competition for this part of the state, and try to get, some more involvement, from Southwest Michigan. But after doing just this 20 entry competition for Keepers of Craft, I was like, holy shit, that's a lot of work.
we can get more people involved instead of just you two. So it'll split it up. Say one person for every 20. Oh my gosh, I still have like 4 cans of that. I think maybe. Tell me how it is.
I still
I
had
have 2 cases of it.
I still have like probably like half a case ish or so left. Yeah.
So for those listening and not watching, Brandon just cracked a Dirty Imperialist from One Well, which is a beer that we helped brew at One Well as the homebrew club in 2008.
We didn't help brew it. We brewed it.
19, I think.
19?
Yeah, it was 19.
Okay. We did. I guess we did mostly brew it. Trevor.
It's our recipe.
Maybe sad to make sure we didn't break their equipment, but
Recipe was written by Adam Cagle, Art Connett, and one other person. I'm sorry.
Revisions. Yeah.
And then we went to One Well and brewed it, and they canned it.
It's held up well.
It says on the can, it calls us out on the can, I believe, Keepers of Craft. I bought a case of it, or I bought a couple cases of it, and I was going to take a case to Homebrew Fest and put it on. Yeah. Oh, there's got the little.
Oh, it even has our logo. That's awesome.
Yep. So I was gonna take a case of it to Homebrew Fest and share it with the rest of the clubs, and then Homebrew Fest never happened. So I still have 2 cases in the basement.
Bring it next year. It's not like it's a beer that's not going to age well or something.
Oh yeah, it tastes honestly. It tastes how I remember it for the most part.
Cool.
Still tastes great. Yeah.
How many of those do you have left?
I'm gonna run downstairs and get it.
Around half a case, I think. I think I got 1 case, and then I've been like, I drank a few of them right away, and I've been just trying to break one out every couple months or so and just see how it goes.
That's cool.
It's chilling in my beer fridge. Yeah.
I gave away a lot. I got a case too, and I was just giving them to everybody. Like, our club brewed this. Like,
I'm a beer hoarder.
I've been trying to break into my stash a little bit downstairs. It's gotten worse in the last year because of the pandemic. Like, just especially with like not finishing off my kegs and needing more room because I haven't had people to give beer to. Haven't really had people over. Haven't had homebrew club meetings. and I need room in my keg because I haven't brewed any less. So I'll bottle stuff off, I'll set it aside, and it just collects and collects and collects. And I've seen Jason's basement, and I know that the same thing happens there sometimes.
I actually started to break into my stash and give away verticals this year. I've given away a few.
Like
so years
stuff
ago,
with KBS.
Yeah.
Okay.
Years ago, I had this grand idea that I was going to buy like multiple cases of KBS every year, and then in 5 years, I'd give out like 5-year verticals of KBS. Well, then founders kind of, thank you, you are listening. So.
Jason's
so
wife,
then found.
Yeah,
she's listening in the basement where I have a beer cellar, so she just brought me a can of Dirty Imperialist. So I had this plan to give away, save up and have these verticals of KBS, and then founders made it, widely available year round, and kind of destroyed the specialty-ness of it or whatever. But I still have. What is it? I think, what did I just give away? I give Ryan 16, 17, and 18. I gave someone else like 17, 18, and 19 or something like that. Yeah. So if anybody wants a old, 3-4 year vertical at KBS, hit me up.
Nice.
Oh, this smells good.
Yeah.
She doesn't know. She just brought me another, what is this, 12% beer? Yeah.
8 or 9, somewhere in there. It's definitely up there, though.
No, I think it's north. It's double digits.
Is it really? I don't think so.
It's at least 10.
Yeah, is it on here? Yeah, I don't know. Maybe it's not.
I'll go back to the recipe.
I have the recipe saved somewhere, yeah.
We can check on Taft real quick, too. I'm sure it's on there. But no other competitions for me in 2020. I sort of got into, and I mentioned this earlier in the show, I sort of got really into making sour beer and making mead because like I said, I was running out of keys or space and stuff, and those are kind of things that you can make that can sit around for a while and don't necessarily need to take up room really quick. I'm typing in dirty bastard.
Dirty Imperialist. My saved recipe is 8.7%, but that's not to say it wasn't like a little higher than that.
I know it came in higher.
Untapped says 9.
Okay.
I still feel like I feel like it came in higher, but
maybe we got a special, run or something. I don't know.
So in there is actually some of this being barrel aged. That One Well still has. And the can reads, in collaboration with our mighty homebrew club of Keepers of Craft, we're super excited to offer this delicious Imperial Brown in a can. Thank you to our passionate crew of beer enthusiasts who continue to keep the simple and satisfying methods of homebrewing alive. So, yeah, that was really cool for our club to do that. I've never actually opened a can of it. So.
No.
It held up. Yeah, I drank it on tap and then.
You're just giving it away? Really?
Yeah. Super good. Nice Imperial Brown.
My next beer here, I don't have a Dirty Imperialist on hand, but I got these delivered today from the Broadleaf guys / Black Calder guys. It's Black Calder's newer New England IPA. It's called Bishop. I think it's just Citra. Is that what you asked? What hops they used?
No, it says hops juicy.
Oh. Yeah. Yeah, juicy double IPA, double dry hop with Citra. So yeah, we'll give that a shot. I got a couple packs of that. I've only had one other beer from them so far, and that was their black IPA, but I was super impressed with it. So we'll have to, one of these, I got to reach out to them. I've been telling you I was going to do that for like months now. I'll try to send them a message and see if we can get them on.
Yeah,
That'd be super
I
fun.
actually
They seem
I
like cool
emailed
guys.
them, and
okay.
well, I emailed. So here's my thing: is I emailed info at Black Calder. So I'm emailing
Mhm.
some like random box. So if you have another way to contact them, I definitely would. Cause I'd love to talk to those guys.
Okay.
And that goes, for anybody out there that watches this ever, if you know anybody at a brewery that we haven't talked to, by all means, send us a message, put it in the comments, give us a contact. I'm a whore. I'll reach out to anybody.
Should we do some can opening ASMR here?
Oh my god, that sounds pretty good.
Oh yeah,
Do we need to do like?
it always sounds good. Yes, get the pour in there.
What have we come to? Why?
Oh, that's so good.
So, what else exciting has happened this year? Oh, our YouTube channel. That's big news, and we haven't talked
We
about
actually
it.
have a named slug now.
Yeah. So we, if anybody was watching a few weeks ago, we had Drew Jacobs, country music star. Drew Jacobs on. Drew, if you're watching, thank you again. And I was complaining to Drew, who's got a pretty good following on Instagram and YouTube. And what did he? I think he did Snapchat that night. And I was complaining about how we did not have enough followers on YouTube to get a custom YouTube URL. And Drew Jacobs just like went live on Snapchat like while we were talking to him and was like, "Yo, I'll go do this." And the next thing you know, like our YouTube subscription skyrocketed. And then it took like 3 weeks for YouTube to actually realize that we hit all the criteria, but we do. You can go to youtube.com/c/Michigan Brews. So we have a branded YouTube channel. That is awesome. So that's also happened this year.
We also
Awesome.
that was also our longest show. I looked back at that today. I was testing out my mic a little bit, and I was listening to the just the quality and the volume of that show, and I happened to look down at the tracker or whatever. 2.5 hours that show went on.
Yeah, it was not pretty.
I remember
at some point he started selling shots.
Yep.
For us to do. And then I think looking back at our friends that bought those shots for us to do, like you, Brandon, right? And Drew.
Oh, yeah.
And
Drew.
You assholes.
If I remember right, I was listening to you guys and playing video games, and then that came up too, and I was like, "Oh, I'm buying some shots." I was gonna buy a bunch of them, but like he had shut some of it down, and he was saying, "Don't everyone buy like 10 shots." I'm like, "Okay, fine."
So I started that show with a nearly full bottle of Basil Hayden's, full, and I put a hurt on that bottle of Basil Hayden's. It's still up here, and I haven't really drank out of it since then. But that was a rough night. So thanks, Drew. I think Drew has a new music video coming out pretty soon for the Garth Brooks cover or the dance, a cover of Garth Brooks' Dance. So,
okay.
If anybody's watching, go check that out, Drew Jacobs. So we really appreciate his help getting our custom YouTube channel.
Okay.
Let's give this beer a shot.
Hell yeah. You couldn't give us the ASMR drinking, like a couple good slurps and
Yeah.
What?
Want to
Should I put my
hear
throat
the gulping
right above the mic?
sounds? Whoop, whoop, whoop.
this
Oh,
is so
I
sad.
should have. That was a hard gulp. Oh, it's burning. God, fuck! I'm so old.
This is
Old guy tries to take ASMR shots and jokes.
let's see,
This is a young person's game. Yeah.
broke shit Brian.
Broke shit, Brian. Is that was that pre-made? Was that from?
Yeah. I was just going through. Brian can never find happiness.
Why are these made?
Yeah.
That makes me sad. It's like that's always true. Although I will say I'm proud of this Schwartz beer. I think it's like right on the verge of like properly carbonated. It's not too much.
Really?
But Shanna said that she would prefer it probably with a little extra kick. So I kind of agree with her. I'm gonna bump it up just because I am the carbonation whore. But
You know, I actually have a banner for Brandon too. For some reason, from the last time you were on there, Brandon, we had the Brandon Edwards fan club.
I don't even think it was the last time we were on here. I think there was just one show where we were talking about Brandon like again and again and again for some reason. But
I mean,
we're always glad to have you on.
If there is, I doubt there's an actual fan club, but I'll take it. But whatever. Usually I annoy people when I start talking, so I was just, I'm just glad to be here.
So this was just supposed to be a super chill night, no guests, just drinking, chatting, bullshitting, and I'm glad that we brought you on because it was just Brian and I think we would have ended this shit a while ago. So
I probably would have gone on like random spiels and stuff. I started the episode like all ready to talk about like fucking brewing sour beer and meat and shit, and I'll still do it.
You do it. Yeah,
but
don't hold back.
What I want to say here though is we're going to have a sour beer episode.
Yeah,
we're going to have a mead episode.
Oh no, we're gonna have multiples. I guarantee it. It's just
so don't spoil it,
too much.
Brian.
I'll talk about my experience in the last year making them, though. I guess.
There you go. Yeah.
So, yeah, it is sort of a year in. We kind of already did a year in review. It was like a year in review for like Michigan brews, and I guess this is like a, more personal from the heart, like what we did personally year in review. Since we haven't really had a non-guest episode, not that we don't consider you a guest, but
so in the last year, Brian's brewed 300 beers.
So I keep have I showed you guys my spreadsheet before?
Oh yeah.
Is that a yes?
I don't know if I've seen it. So, but
sure, it's colorful. It's complicated.
Sure. So I'll start by saying
I feel a banner coming up here. I'm gonna get them ready. So
I didn't create the spreadsheet, but I did add a little bit to fit my own needs.
Brian breaks out Excel or Google Sheets.
Let me see. And I kind of got real lazy with it near the end of the year. Let me share my screen here. Share screen. Hopefully I don't have like anything weird up, but
this is where we get to see what kind of freaky porn you're into.
Yeah.
Whoa! Endless.
These are all my different like coding projects that I have right now, but where's Excel here? So it looks like I brewed a Schwartz beer around this time last year, a little bit earlier, but so I think this is missing a few, but this is sort of around when it's competition season, what I use to help me keep track of what I have in like each of my 2 fermentation chambers. So I know when there's room to ferment in one and when there's room to like cold crash in one and stuff. And when I can like pull stuff out and put stuff back in. So again, this isn't my spreadsheet. I gotta find where this came from. I must have deleted like the link or something, but there's all these little icons down here that mean different things up here, and just dates, beers, yeast, and so I can kind of keep track of how long stuff was in primary. These were just estimates of like how long it took to finish certain beers. Anything long like this, like these green ones are like my sour beers that I made and have been sitting. I think all these are still in carboys in my basement right now. So yeah, it's just kind of what I use to keep track of.
But realistically, you brewed 50 beers this year or over 50 beers?
I think it's closer to 40 with some meads in there too, probably.
Okay. I've done 12, counting my mead.
It's still pretty good.
It's been a rough year. And in 2021, I think I'm at 3.
I mean, going by, beers per, day or month or whatever, you're still ahead. You're like 1.5 times ahead over where you were last year right now.
One of those I should count as a double batch because it is, 6 gallons of 11.5% seltzer base.
There you go.
Yeah.
Right. I got to cut that shit down because it tastes like rocket fuel right now.
Still? No. Oh, you haven't cut it yet. Okay.
No, I haven't cut it yet. So
Kevin said zoom in. I wasn't watching at sorry, Kevin, I wasn't watching the comments when I was sharing my screen there. I'll find a link to the spreadsheet and give the guy credit who actually made this thing. Because I really like it. But
yeah, if anybody wants a couple gallons of highly alcoholic seltzer base, I don't have room for it. So
shoot. I've still got most of my, 4-ish%, just because I don't drink enough of it,
That's my problem. I've got probably 4 gallons on tap already. And then this 6 gallons will really dilute down to 12 gallons. So I've got, 3 more corny kegs of seltzer base. So MHF, God damn it. It's happening this year. You're damn right it is.
Yeah, I mean, really, what are you going to do? Lose some flavor? Sorry, laughing at my own joke. Save it. Just save it. Yeah.
I will save some of that for MHF.
Oh,
30.
Yeah. Non-diluted.
Oh yeah, you want to serve that at like 12% and get people fucked up.
Don't even flavor it, just fucking just straight alcoholic water.
So here's the thing. I mean, so it's kind of like mead, right? In that it's sort of just like dextrose wine, I guess. I don't know. Like it'll cool off a little bit as it ages. Corn wine. Yeah. So it might not be so bad. It's like a watered down, shitty vodka or something.
So the last time that I did this, when we talked in November, I think we talked to Lance Shaner from Omega Yeast, right? Mm-hmm. And he, they came out with their proper seltzer and they recommend that it goes with Lutra. And so the first one I brewed, I kept it kind of cool, in the 66, 68 range. And it kind of bottomed out at 10-20, so it was sweet. But my wife and I liked it. So I said, fuck it. And I kegged it, carbonated it, slightly sweet. It's good. This one I went high, because Lance said if you go high and cut it, you'll actually get a cleaner flavor. So I did as you recommended. And I did warm it up or bring it up to be warmer since it fermented on my second floor. And I got busy with life these last few weeks and I forgot about it. And it's burned down now to 10.04 or 1.04, 1.004. God damn it, I can't even talk. So it is dry as fuck and tastes of lighter fluid. So, so I think at that ratio, I think it's at about 12%.
Okay.
12% alcoholic water with no residual sweetness at all. Super.
I'm
great.
down. Yeah. I'm all about
I actually want to find some like really heavy mineral water and cut it with that because I really think it needs like that seltzery,
give it maybe like a tonic or something.
Yeah.
In fact, I have some
quinine or whatever.
Yeah. I have 3 different flavors of that stuff that I haven't used. That's what it's called, right? Yeah, or
something like that.
Starts with a Q, right?
Yeah,
something.
Quinine.
Yeah.
That.
Yeah.
Adds a little bit of sweetness and minerality. Yeah. I don't know. I was just pulling up my tilt results here. Like, obviously, if I asked this as a question, you're going to probably guess it. But like, I had told you guys I'd brewed 10 gallons of wort last weekend or this weekend, and split it with as a half of it is going to be a Pilsner and half is going to be a Saison. Which yeast do you think Now I will say I did cheat a little bit on the lager and fermented at 60. But like, which yeast do you think is destroying the wort the most? 3470 or Y yeast 3711 French Saison?
I feel like
by the way that you phrased it, I'm going to guess the 3470.
yeah.
Yeah, the lager yeast destroyed that wort twice as fast, which is like at 60 degrees over at 72. I ran the 3711 at 72 degrees. And even and 3711 is a beast of a yeast, anyone who's used it. But like 3470 at 60 degrees, it just don't care. It just powers through.
That's crazy. That should be a.
Right now, the lagers, the Pilsner's at 1.009 and the Saison's at 1.010. They're close, don't get me wrong. But the 3470's been like took off quicker. And like was like probably 50% done with fermentation before the Saison really even took off. So like,
where do you expect them to stop?
Pretty close to where they're at. Like the Saison, I'd hope would go a little lower, but they're both supposed to be around 4.5%. So neither of them are big beers. They're just easy. It's the year of easy drinking for me.
You know, there was like 3 years ago when I brewed my 60 batches or close to 60 batches in a year, and I don't think anything was under like 7.5%. And I always thought that, like, man, I need to start brewing these 4%, 3.5%. Hell, one year David Jones did like a 2%. Brute
table brew. I don't know what you call it. Yeah.
All of my shit's been big.
I wonder what this year is going to bring as far as like styles go, if anything.
If you've been watching the Reddit, the stupid cold IPA has been the thing that people have been talking about this weekend.
Cold IPA.
It's just an IPL, basically. Some brewery decided to call it a cold IPA.
Because beer's warm usually.
Yes.
I guess.
I just like someone made a post on our homebrewing, like calling it a cold IPA, and like some brewery that was local to them. And everyone's like, this just sounds like an IPL. India Pale Lager.
I totally dig those, or like New Zealand Pilsners, or whatever.
Wasn't it who was it when we were younger? The macro that was advertising everything is like cold filtered.
The Bat?
Was it? I feel like
they have. Or was it Coors? Coors has like the color changing cans, or did for a while, right?
Oh, the mountains, the blue mountains.
Yeah,
they were cold filtered. I'm like, do you ever heat that shit up? Like, of course.
Shannon's yelling at me. She says Coors.
Whiskey likes to say no chill filter, no chill or whatever, something like that. But when they're filtering there, but that's whiskey, so non-chill filtered. But
that's right.
Yeah, Patrick says Coors.
Cold filtered Rocky Mountain Stream, whatever.
Rocky Mountain Pea.
Cold since you chilled, since you chilled it and pitched it, fucker's been cold. So
the colder it is, the better. It tastes more like water.
Speaking of, my next beer is going to be a Hams. God damn it, I need to lighten up.
For those in the club listing who haven't seen the show yet, next week is our Ham Slam meeting. So
Ham Slam.
Make sure to get your hams ready, your Hop Slam ready, and we're gonna do some mixing and pairing. Probably not
Hop
pairing,
Slam
but
still readily available stores around Kalamazoo. So definitely go out and get your Hop Slam. But yeah, the idea is we're gonna taste Hop Slam, talk about kind of compare it to the flavor wheel, and talk about what we taste. We're gonna taste the hams, do the same thing, and then mix the two together.
Should I get some fresh hams? The hams I have right now is probably about a month old. That might be a little old.
You don't want to cut yourself short there. You need the full experience.
Okay.
That's maybe set a few of those aside. You can do like a 5-month vertical of like hams, or something. See how it progresses, and
I am sure this is a goddamn misprint, and I love who is it,
God.
Miller that does it. But my hams actually says Best Buy. I wish I need to take a picture of this. My Best Buy date on my hams can is April of 1921.
Are you sure? You're sure it's not
April 19, 21.
Yeah,
Yeah.
21. Yeah.
Oh, it is. It's actually an April date and then 1920. Let's see. Can you see that at all? No, that doesn't work.
Well, while talking about lagers, did any of you guys pick up a 6-pack of Cold Hearted?
No. Do they still have some down at the general store?
They did. I mean, I was late. I didn't pre-order it, and I got some like on Friday. But,
okay.
Actually,
I need to run down there tomorrow.
Might go grab one. It's it's good. I could go for drinking some of that.
I'd like to try to get some of that and some Black Hearted if it's still around, but I looked in the store yesterday and I couldn't find it, and I thought I'd have to go to Bell's, and I don't know if I'm going to make it.
Yeah. Cold Hearted, I think, was just at Bell's, and then Black Hearted, I think they're distributing, but if I'm quoting that right. But
I have some Black Hearted sitting around still. If you don't end up getting some, I'm sure I can.
Cold Hearted.
Set out a few bottles for you.
Good stuff.
So, Brian, if you were to go do that, tomorrow during the day.
Yeah. So my friend Hallie is really into spicy foods, and I made a mead last year that is a mango habanero hydromel. This is about a 6% carbonated mead with Yep, there it is. Man, that does look like 1920. I know.
1921.
That's pretty good.
It's 100 years, almost 100 years past the date, so you're just gonna not have to drink. Don't drink that.
Just so tempted to crack it. But this one's
anyway, where I was getting is I need to get some lactose down there, so I use lactose and erythritol in it to leave some sweetness, which I kind of think that a session mead needs a little bit. And in my last batch, I used just 2 habaneros cut up in primary, and I had just a nice little like heat in the back of your throat. It wasn't hard to drink or anything like that, but she wants it like hot. So I don't know how many we're gonna throw in there. Maybe like 6 or something like that. I still want it to be drinkable, but
Nice.
Yeah, it should be fun. So we're gonna mix that together.
It does look like Bell's has both Cold Hearted and Black Hearted still listed, so you should be fine.
Okay. Yeah, sweet.
Fine. Yeah.
I think I made something like 10 meads last year. Mostly a big fruit meads, but
well, I don't plan on opening this tonight. I know I saw that you had drank it.
Yeah.
Dark Monolith. How'd you like that?
Yeah, I want to hear what you have to say about it too. I don't want to so my opinion on it is that it was good. It has more like dark fruit, like raisiny characteristics, like chocolate characteristics than maybe I care for. Like I like my Russian Imperial Stout sort of like, I don't know, chocolatey and like very like roast forward and like kind of like a nice hop presence and stuff.
Yeah.
And this was almost sort of like a sweet dark fruit sort of thing going on.
Okay.
And so it was super good. It's not what I expected going in. I drank the entire bottle by myself, I think, that night, and it was great. Yeah, just it was. I didn't know what to expect going in. Like normal, my Russian Imperial Stout, and like.
Would you drink it a little warm, or did you drink it cold, or did you?
I liked it best after about half an hour.
Okay.
Like I think I poured about half the bottle and was drinking that, cold, and then I went back for the rest of the bottle. And the second half of the bottle was my favorite.
Okay. Yeah, I like at least usually feel like when you get like those things above 10% that they seem to be better like around the 50-degree mark or so. Like once they warmed up a little bit, anyways, just because that seems to you get more flavors.
I am totally with you. I probably should have waited and just like drank the entire thing at that flavor, but that's okay. Sometimes it's fun to experience beers like at their various temp ranges. I mean,
Yep.
we're not cicerones, we're not pairing beer with food. We're drinking it, so yeah, it's whatever.
No. It works. I mean, plus it's easy to pull it out of the fridge, and then, especially you got a bomber there, drink half of it cold and drink the other half after it's warmed a bit. So
Yeah,
it's kind of on that topic. That's kind of how we're going to do next week's homebrew review, right? We decided we're not going to try to be BJCP judges and judge on that. We're just going to talk about what we taste, what we like. And when it's Kevin's beer, we can just spit it out dramatically on camera.
I think we sort of decided that we're going to use it as an excuse to try to train our own palates better. I think that like hearing what other people think about a particular beer helps train my brain to kind of remember those flavors. That's why trying to teach yourself to like taste beer alone, I think, is way harder than if you were to get together with a group of people, every so often, which I think is something that we were going to try to do this last year. But again, COVID happened.
COVID.
So
COVID.
I know that might be something, in fact, that we still do continue to try to do, but maybe like virtually as sort of a in-between thing for our keepers meetings. Or maybe we can even use it as an excuse to get like non-members in to participate on things with us, and maybe that will sort of guide them into maybe joining the club or something. I don't know. Ideas. We're just pitching around ideas.
I like that idea. I'm a simpleton when it comes to beer in general and just trying to describe it, because usually it is as simple as me as I like it or I don't. Like,
oh, this is good. Yeah.
Like, obviously if it's somebody like, you don't want to be a total asshole if there's something you don't like about it, but and explain how, what it is specifically you don't like about it. Because, I'd rather, if I'm telling somebody why I don't like something and that it's something they made personally, trying to explain why I don't, I prefer this or something like that. I prefer, I'm working on being less of an asshole as a person.
When I'm trying not to spit up that smoked porter that somebody at the club passed me, and then they get all offended that I am gagging and choking on their beer and talking about how shit nasty that was. It has nothing to do with your beer. In fact, I did, in joking, I actually think it was Nate that did that to me once. And I was able to step back and be like, technically, it's fine. Like, there's no flaws. You hit your notes. You got the smoke characteristic in there. But for Christ's sakes, there is no worse flavor in the world to me than this goddamn smoked beer. So, and Kevin, you will get the full asshole treatment. I promise. Because I love you.
I don't know. That's just trying to be constructive with criticism. That's more important, especially like if someone's actually asking for feedback, who wants some constructive feedback. Because I know myself, I make plenty of beers where I can't speak for others, but like for me, since I tried brewing different, I change things that I shouldn't just on the fly sometimes because I think it sounds good, and then often regret that. So like as myself, like I feel like I brew a lot of beer that's only okay, and then occasionally share one that I really like. That's like my style anyways, just because I like doing stupid things that come to me last minute.
No, you try that. You crazy shit. Sounds fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was making a blonde base for a sour back in October, and my normal base is somewhere around the half and half, like base malt like Pilsner and wheat, and maybe with like some other stuff in it, maybe just like a little oats or something. And I had everything ready to go. Like I had time to brew, and I normally keep malted white wheat like on hand in bulk to use. And I just wasn't paying attention to my like little stock downstairs, and I had literally zero wheat, and so I was like, well, fuck it. I guess I'm gonna do a half. I think I did Pilsner and oats instead. So I have like this like weird looking colored half, like I think it's like 3/4 Pilsner, like 1/4 oat, like blonde base downstairs with like no wheat. So we'll see how that ends up turning out. That's kind of where, like, at the beginning of the show, and I think I made a comment about this on Facebook too. It's kind of where I was going, like, and I'll bring this into like future shows too. But like, you go on like the Milk the Funk like wiki, and you go on the Facebook page, and so many people know more than me, and there's so much to know, and people are so fucking smart. It's intimidating, you know, and you're like, how do I, like, you know, properly make like a sour beer or something like that, and not fuck it up and get judged by these people. And as it turns out, that you can't really fuck it up. It's all in the it's not like regular brewing where you have like something in mind and then you put together a recipe and you're like, I'm going to target this flavor, and that's exactly what it's going to be.
No.
Sour beer brewing often is, I'm going to add these bugs into it and maybe some dregs and things that are delicious to me, and have something in mind, you know, that you sort of want to get to, and maybe it'll turn into something even better, maybe won't be quite as good. But then you can like blend. There's so much blending that you can do with with future batches, which is why it's really nice to get like a pipeline going. You know, you can add wood, you can not add wood. You can try to make it really tart. You cannot. It's such like it's a relaxing way to brew for me, because you can just seriously fuck off kind of, and like, and at the end of the day, you're going to get something that's probably going to taste all right. And even if it doesn't, you can blend it back into something later if you keep on going with it. Jordan and Drew Doster and I have a 15-gallon barrel that's in Drew's basement right now. And there was one particular sour beer that we pulled out of there that was a red. And I don't know if it was just the portion that I pulled off or whatever, but it was very, I don't know how to describe it better than, like, it had some very deep, bready, like, flavors. Not like light, fragrant horse blanket, but like dark fruit that's like rested under the horse blanket for like a couple months and rotted a little bit, sort of flavors. And they weren't bad. They were just very overpowering. And so I think I ended up getting about 4 gallons to bring home, and I use a gallon of it at a time to blend with some of the other sour beers that I'll bring from another barrel project that I'm part of, or my own beers. And it mellows it right out. It adds a little bit of richness, you know, to these other beers. And it's fun and relaxing. And I don't know, we'll get more into it in like future episodes and stuff, but that's sort of been my zen brew
like
days in last year.
That lambic base that I let you try last time you were by, you know, that was something I brewed almost 2 years ago, and it's been through a basement flood, and it's been, you know, it's been upstairs and downstairs and kicked around, and I keep forgetting. I'm like, this has got to be a carboy of just some nasty shit. You know, why do I even have it? And then Brian was over and I pulled the sample, and I'm like, holy shit, it's not bad.
Yeah, it was super good.
And it's really good. And then I want to brew like 3 or 4 more. And I'm actually bummed that I wasn't brewing a lambic base or some kind of lambic or mixed sour base month after month, because now I've got this one that's almost 2 years old, but I don't have anything else between now and then. You know, to start blending with. So I do need to get some of those going, you know, and Brian, we should like share a box or something, and you know.
Yeah.
Give me some dregs.
Yeah, I've been occasionally, if I really like the beer that I pull off of it, I'll save like a mason jar, and I've been feeding it, every couple weeks, like a like a sourdough starter or something like that, and burping the mason jar a little bit. There's probably better ways to do it. For those people that watch a show and that I'm friends with in real life, that I have like a little bit of a yeast bank now that I keep frozen. But sometimes with like bacteria and stuff like that, it doesn't like flocculate out of like solution quite as easily as yeast does. It hangs around the liquid quite a bit more. So I've sort of read and found that it seems to be easier just to sort of keep a jar of it, I guess, and sort of keep feeding it and try to use it moderately quickly. But Michael Tonsmeyer has a nice post about it on his blog, a couple probably, and American Sour Beers is a good resource for that stuff too. That book is amazing.
But you said something earlier about talking about people on Milk the Funker and Reddit and stuff, and that know so much more. And I almost want to call this out because you and Brandon are way more into the Reddit and kind of like public forums than I am. I dip my toe in there and I find so many trolls and assholes and just, people that, you go out there and you try to find a good group to get feedback from, and they just lambaste you. So my personal experience recommendation is if you're a new brewer and you're trying out and you're trying to discover new things, don't go to those places. Like, find a homebrew club. Yeah, find a homebrew club of people that can actually talk to you. But I laughed. What was there was a Facebook group that Brian was in that it presented to me, and they were like slamming people with Fruit Loop beers.
Why are homebrewers like this?
Yeah, and then it just happened to pop up where I see a comment from Brian being like, "Yo, a guy from my club did that and did well with it," and they're all like, "Oh, it's sad." That's and they're making fun of it, and I'm like, "Hold on, now I've won."
Like he won NHC regional gold medal for it. Like, come on now,
right? Like,
so yeah, I mean, it was basically a bunch of posts, or screenshots from like new beginning brewers asking questions that maybe we know and we're kind of basic, or people wanting to fuck around with adding cereal to a beer or something. But like,
yeah, and they're getting slammed for it.
Yeah,
but did I ever?
I don't know.
Did I ever set out and go, "Oh, I want to do a beer with Fruit Loops"? No, I did it for a club competition. We were doing it for fun, to be silly. And it just happened to turn out all right. And so now I do it because tradition says I have to do it.
You can't call it Looper without Fruit Loops.
Do I think the Fruit Loops make a difference? No.
I will say personally that I think the homebrewing subreddit is in general 99% of the time pretty good. I think that
I don't go on there
that want to help. The mead subreddit can sometimes be a little bit more persnickety.
Nice. I like persnickety. Persnickety? You mean cocksuckery?
There are a few names that like come up time and time again where it's like short answers, or like read the wiki, or whatever, which are fine, but sometimes
it's kind of like. If Kevin's still watching, it's kind of like people asking if it's okay if garlic turns blue, but that's an obscure reference for a friend.
So I was making pickles and my garlic turned blue, the other day, and I was like, oh, like I feel like I read this was supposed to be a thing, and I Googled it because I wasn't sure, but yeah.
I think Kevin got kicked out of Insane in the Membrane or one of those fermenting groups.
Oh no!
There he is. Kevin wrote a post about, yes, it's okay that your goddamn like garlic turns blue or whatever, and people got all bent out of shape about it.
Yeah.
I think Shayna's out in the kitchen either choking or laughing. I don't know.
One of the two.
Yeah.
Sorry if I'm hopping back a little bit.
Let's see. Let's pull up his question. Look at him. It's hard to see that thumbnail. This motherfucker is a chef. I'm not joking. Chef Kevin. He knows what the fuck he's doing.
Were you hopping back to, Brandon?
Oh, sorry. I was hopping back to I had recently joined one of the barrel programs that you're part of.
Yeah,
Brian.
the big cloud barrel.
Yep. And like I had sours in general are pretty new to me. Like, the first sour I had made was with Philly Sour for reference to homebrewers out there. Like otherwise I hadn't. It's not something I've done really because one, I didn't want to like dedicate equipment to it. And then joining that barrel program, I got lucky and thanks to our president, David, got to collect some sour wort from the barrel before I actually, like at the same time I contributed my first 5 gallons to it as well.
Yeah.
So because he already had enough. So I had mixed some dark wort that I made to kind of make sort of a blended Flanders red was my idea, which I kind of, while chatting with Tim Wickland, decided to come up with that idea as well. I was mentioning to him that I wanted to make a Flanders red, and he was like, "Oh, I like last time or this time I'm going to blend some dark wort and make one." I'm like, "You know what? That's a great idea. I'm going to do that too. Thank you for that idea." So kind of like a, cheat / nice blend way of trying to make a Flanders red.
Sure. Yeah.
I thought that was a good idea.
You're officially now. That's the cloud barrel, right? That
Yes, it is.
Yeah, so I think Bill Blakesley's in that.
Yep.
Yes.
And he pulled some out and did a Flanders. I don't know how he did his Flanders red, but honestly, dude, one of the best fucking Flanders I've ever had. Like,
so that particular one was a Flanders recipe that everybody did and put into the barrel. I think.
Okay.
I'm pretty sure.
I don't know what Bill did. He gave me a bottle of it, and I did naughty things. It was delicious.
We'll see how my take goes. Like all I did was made I made about 3 gallons of a dark wort with Munich, Vienna, and like some. Oh dang! I just pulled up to like some sort of dark roasted malt to add some color to it, and then blended it with a little less than 4.5, 5 gallons that I got in my fermenter, and it's just chilling in there right now. I have to try another sample of it. Thankfully, I put it in my anvil bucket, so it's easy to take samples from, and I've been trying not to take samples too regularly from it, just to give it time. And when I first blended it, there was like hardly any sourness after it. It was pretty darn sour before blending it, and then blending it like killed like a lot of the sourness. The blend together, it's like, oh man, this is like slightly tart. And then I tried it maybe a week ago, and it was like, oh yeah, it's catching up. It's
getting back there. Nice.
Getting back there.
Nice.
So I was just debating if I wanted to also add like some oak cubes or something to give it more oak character or not. I might give it a month or two more before I make that decision. But yeah, I don't know. Just being my first try, I've only had a couple of commercial Flanders Reds in my time, but and I wish I could remember which one. When I was visiting my brother-in-law out in Virginia area, one of the ones that we got, I think he actually got it, and I just tried a little bit of it, but it was like it was a really great Flanders Red, which I'm going to have to chat with him to figure out if he can remember which brewery out there made that, because it was like the one that in my head made me think, man, I need to make something like this.
Where was it from?
It was in the Virginia area. I'm pretty sure we picked a brewery that was native to Virginia, but I can't remember which one for the life of me. I know, but it's one of those, you try this beer, I'm like, oh man, like I've had some Flanders Reds a couple times that were pretty good, but that one was just killer. So that was kind of my goal. And like, you know what? I don't drink a ton of sours, but that's one of those styles that I've had a couple of examples of that have been something I'd like to drink more of.
Cool. Yeah, so I can't wait to try that.
I can't either. I have dreams someday of starting my. I know I've got access to a barrel, a 55, and I'd love to get 10 or 11 guys to go in on a barrel. I keep saying I'm going to finish my beer room and set up a barrel so that I can get a barrel program going in my house. I really haven't talked to Amy about that though, or if she really fully understands what I want to do.
What that
She'll
means,
probably
yeah.
put a stop at it. Yeah, that because she's probably listening, but she was down there earlier, like cleaning out the beer room so we could use it for some extra storage. And if I put like a 5-foot, tall barrel in there and then invite strangers in the house, yeah, that's never going to happen. So anyway, 100-year-old hams.
Verdict is
It's so delicious. Yeah.
Oh, hams.
what if
Ham's
that
good.
was like it was a mistake. It was like a promotion that they ran, and it was like 100-year-old, hams, and you just drank like a bottle a can you could have put up on.
The thing is I actually checked a minute ago when I stepped away, and all of them are like that. So I've got a dozen or more because I bought a 30-pack cube.
Yeah.
You're gonna be rich.
I have. Oh, look at Kevin. Kevin's Livingston's got a barrel program I'm going to get into.
Oh yeah,
Fuck
nice.
you guys. I'm going east. That's right, Kevin. I'm in it. I've drank 25 or 26-year-old Miller High Life, and it was horribly metallic and disgusting. So, hams is king.
I wonder if that's back before they started using like liners, like can liners or something.
You drank lead.
Yeah.
So I actually had
like this.
I had a buddy of mine that used to work for a distributor, and I was telling him about going to Homebrew Fest a few years ago, and I told him about the Dirty 30, which Kevin mentioned earlier in chat. And what the Dirty 30 is you take what's supposed to be a bad or nasty or whatever macro beer, and we put it in this tote of ice water, and they tarp it, and then we pick two people. There's really no sense to it. It's really stupid. But we randomly pick two people. They go up. They blindly select a beer, and then they chug it. And so most of the time in the Dirty 30, or sometimes a great beer, you're absolutely right. One year, somebody put in, I think, a bottle at CBS, and they were like, fuck, I don't want to chug this. But they're supposed to chug it, But most of the time it's fucking wine coolers or shitty homebrew. I did. I filled a bottle of Pliny the Elder with Ballast Point
They're mango habanero.
The mango habanero sculpin. Yeah. So I
wasn't
filled,
mango.
I
Yeah, something like that.
or it was just habanero sculpin.
Habanero sculpin. Yeah.
I took a bottle of Pliny the Elder and I put mangoes or a habanero sculpin in it, and I recapped it and I put it in the Dirty 30. Nobody fucking picked it. And then at the end, there were like 3 bottles that hadn't been selected left, and it got sat out. And then at some point, somebody came by and drank it. So I didn't get to see the reaction. But yeah, they did not get a Pliny the Elder.
So that's another benefit of getting a canner, in that everybody usually goes for the cans, right? Like you don't want to pull out like a bottle and have it be like a fucking bomber that you need to chug. Like maybe it would be like a V8 juice or something.
Sure. But the story here, or it could just be a splint of fucking champagne. Oh man, there was so many. That happened a couple years ago.
This major troll.
Kevin, what's his name? Sean had to drink a fucking bottle of champagne, chug it, and he puked. But no, man. So I'm hanging out with a friend, and he's like, dude, I've got these 30-year-old cans of fucking Miller High Life, you should, or Miller Light or whatever it was. He's like, you should throw that in the Dirty 30. And I took them, and that was my intent. I really was going to do that. But then I was hanging out with a buddy, TK, and him and I, we decided there's a good chance here that this will actually do physical damage to somebody or poison somebody. So we opened it, we took a little sip and tasted it, and we threw it out. And I did not put it in the Dirty 30 because I love everybody at Homebrew Fest. I don't really want to poison these motherfuckers. But yeah, it was disgusting. Any liner that had been had in that can was well gone and ate. It was so metallic and gross. So
Cool story, bro.
yeah, it was his.
No,
So-
I can't wait for it again this year.
I cannot. There may have been a Homebrew Fest light that happened last year, and I didn't go, and I really regret it. So whatever happens, COVID be damned. I need some MHF in my life.
Agreed.
So,
Do I want
all
to?
right.
Oh, go ahead.
No, do you want to slam a big ass seltzer or mead?
Shanna forbid me from having seltzer and mead tonight. So, yeah, it's either a raspberry lime sour IPA or a double New England with Mosaic, Ella, and Centennial.
Oh,
Which doubles that one?
Giant Leap from Ferndale.
okay.
I did not like. I'm not a big fan of short step or small step or giant leap.
You didn't like either of them?
Not so much.
Oh man,
I really liked Yard Sale.
Yard Sale's good.
Yeah.
All right, I'm gonna open Giant Leap just so I can taste it.
Yeah.
Fuck you when it's an amazing beer.
You haven't had that one yet?
I've had one. I usually get 2 of the 4-packs. Yeah, we've been going on 90 minutes. We don't have to. Oh, Dimitri. My cat just jumped in my lap as I was trying to play this beer.
Yeah, for a beer or for an episode that didn't have any topic, and we've talked for 86 minutes. Thank you guys for hanging out with us. The 6 of you that have, appreciate it.
Shit.
Dimitri needs pets.
He's so needy.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if anybody hasn't seen my cat before. This is Dimitri Vladimir. He's a vampire cat.
Nice.
He's some sort of weird inbred Siamese thing.
My cat Alice, who occasionally will wander around the set, but not that often. She'll be jumping all over my desk area every morning. Like that's her thing as I'm starting work during the week is she wants attention basically until generally my wife will feed her. Then she doesn't need attention anymore. And then towards dinner time, she'll come back and want attention again. And then once dinner is served by me or my wife, then she'll, go do her own thing. But yeah, she is an attention whore. Between 7:30 and 8:30, and then 4 to 5 o'clock every day. And then she wants nothing to do with me when it's not around breakfast or dinner time.
That's fair. Yeah. Oh, this comment makes me happy. I've been making rye wines the last couple years now. I think I've made 3. My last one I put on Balaton cherries, but I think this is like my new favorite style of beer. I will drink a rye wine over a barley wine like any day of the week these days. And like nobody makes them. I have Bell's has made 1 or 2. I have a couple cans of Rye Way to Heaven from Revolution downstairs right now, but generally don't see them that much. And they're just like it takes a bit of extra carbonation to get like the bubbles flowing through them, to get them not to be like a nasty creamy consistency. But depending on how you brew them, I think they have just like a lot of like awesome like sort of like milk chocolatey flavor and stuff. The texture is awesome. I don't know. I hope to see that become like a bigger style. I've been wanting to brew one and enter into a competition, but I don't know how I would do that.
Dude, your cherry wine was
I tried one of your rye wines. It was really good, and I have this love for rye. But like I feel like most of the time when I use more than like 10 or 15% of it in a beer, I almost regret it most of the time. So like it's my goal to use more of it, but at the same time, I usually regret it when I start trying in practice to use more than that.
I fucked up last time. My last one was a fucking nightmare. just the worst stuck sparge like you can possibly imagine. And I use like my 15-gallon kegel too. So like it's deep and I couldn't even get down far enough to try to like scrape to try to get stuff to drain, and even that wasn't working. And I think I ended up like dumping this kegel like through a mesh bag like into a bucket and like pulling it up and squeezing it, brewing a bucket style, and then I tried to sparge with it, and then the fucking sparge stuck too. Like it was not smart. It was a bad day. That was a long brew day. The beer turned out good.
Well, that part's good. As somebody who uses a brew bag for just about every brew, like
I need to start doing that.
I don't have issues like it'll be a pain in some ways, but I can always get it mash it, and I can get the gravity points going. The problem to me, like always, has just been like when I start using more than say like 30% rye,
Mm-hmm.
it just start either. Oh God!
Is that new? Is that a new one?
Wow! It's such a thick beer, or like it just doesn't quite taste as good to me as it would have been if it was less rye. Like as much as I want to love rye, I can't quite harness using crap tons of it. But I have liked your rye wine, so I will.
And those are usually about 30% ish. Yeah.
Okay.
You got to put through
30%.
More carbonation through it. Let me look up my last recipe. But yeah.
Oh, 30% rye?
30% rye. But that includes like chocolate rye and flaked rye.
Fucking rye. I've tried making a damn near 100% rye beer, and that was a disaster. Like, yeah, it was like it could not carbonate. Like no matter. I think I tried to carbonate like 40 psi for like a week, and it was still like the weakest carved beer in my life. It's like, what is the sludge coming out of my tap?
I'm looking at my recipe, and it's about 33% rye. Is where I'm sitting.
Okay.
Between chocolate, flaked, and normal rye malt. A little special bee and a little special bee in there, I think, is what makes it super good.
Hell yeah.
Special bee's good.
Well,
what do you think, guys?
We should do
this.
I
could go on for forever, but I don't know if people need to listen to us talk for forever. We're coming up on an hour and a half, and I think we're losing viewers. Although I want to talk to Kevin about rye wine now. We got 22-ounce chucked at room temperature in August. Oh, Ginger Hagrid. I love Ginger Hagrid. He's my favorite. Yeah.
He chugged a glass of Peach Reaper or Peaches and Screams and then ran away from our bar and puked. Rest in peace, Ginger Hagrid. No, I think we should probably go before it's too dirty. So next week, Homebrew Review, Livingston Social Brew Club edition. Kevin Penn's going to hook us up with some shit from the east side. All right.
Oh, yeah, that's pretty good. Yeah.
March 1st, we're going to have Stormcloud. Hopefully, if they don't watch this episode, they still stick with us. We're going to take a night off on March 8th. Although by the time March 8th comes around, Brian and I are probably going to want to, hang out online and drink together. So we'll see.
We'll see.
And then March 15th, John Mallett from Bell's Beer. Again, as long as he doesn't watch this episode and get scared off. Super pumped to talk to him.
Maybe we start like one of our mead or sour episodes on March 8th or something. We'll see how we feel. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Right on.
Right.
So thanks for hanging out.
Thanks for having me on here, guys.
Yeah. Brandon, it was great. Don't tell Jordan, but you're way cuter.
Aww. Jordan's pretty cute. I don't know. But...
I'm just saying.
He's got too much gray in his beard now.
Yeah, he's a dad. Nobody likes that. It is what it is. All right, cheers, fellas.
Cheers, fellas.
Cheers. Take it easy.
All right,
good night,
guys.
And remember, because I have no audio during the outro, everybody can hear what we're saying. So,
They don't really care what you're saying,
I
Jason.
know it doesn't.
Like
Really
slurping
fucking
gurgle
matter.
noises.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but I still love you guys. Oh, let's slurp it.